Good morning and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Augusta. I'm Jezebel Anad. I'm your worship associate this morning. And we are a liberal religious congregation of many, many faiths and none. And our credo is we need not think alike to love alike. We have a strong commitment to social justice, including Augusta Pride, which is the subject of our service today. And we have long been a welcoming congregation. We are thrilled to have our first guest speaker back in the sanctuary since COVID. Yay! And behind me is the Reverend Jeff Pulliam. He is pastor emeritus of the Metropolitan Community Church of Our Redeemer. He pastored there for 18 years, was an active member of the Progressive Religious Coalition. Currently, he and his partner Roy worship at St. John's UMC, and that church has recently confronted the UMC domination on its prejudice against individuals based on gender, sexual orientation, and gender identity. They're friends of Pride. They have a 34-year-old son and a dog named Finley. Sorry, I don't have a picture of the dog. Jeff enjoys preaching, reading, singing, and gardening, and we are so happy to have him with us today. One thing we'll be doing that we haven't done in a while after the service, we will be in our usual receiving line so people can come through and say hello. And again, I think most of us are vaccinated, so distancing will be up to the individuals, and they'll also be having a post-service discussion. But first, our music director, David Netchis, will introduce our opening hymn.
Good morning, everybody, both here in the sanctuary and those at home. Happy Pride Month and Happy Pride Sunday. It's a Sunday that has a lot of meaning for me personally. And our opening, I should say, before we get to our hymn, we are very lucky to have Patricia Childs back with us, and she's going to sing a solo today at the offertory. And our opening hymn is not in our hymn books. It is a video hymn. It's a hymn called Days of Rage and Days of Hope. And the song was written and the video produced by Amanda Udis Kessler, who is a very, very big UU musician, who composes a lot of things and has a very active website. And she was gracious enough to make this video available for our use today. So sit back and enjoy the video. Days of Rage and Days of Hope.
Days of rage and days of hope, days of claiming dignity in a world that fostered fear, days of daring to be free. So today we offer thanks for the ones who raised a din, challenging a world of hate. 3 nights at the Stonewall Inn. Years of joy and years of pain, building up communities, claiming power and growing strong. Care and courage face disease. Now today we offer thanks for the ones who struggled on. Stonewall's children, everyone, dead and living, here and gone. Lives of pride and lives of love, trans and lesbian, bi and gay, bringing blessings to the world. Glad that we were born this way. All our days we offer thanks for the people we've become. Stonewall's gift to every age, making of this world our home.
And now our president-elect, Marcia Frank, has our announcements.
Good morning and welcome to our visitors. In the chair in front of you, you'll find a blue card. If you could please fill out this blue card, we'd be happy to share more information about our church with you. And again, the blue card is found in the seat in front of you, or you can get one at the desk in the front of the sanctuary. First Baptist Church this week experienced vandalism, and in their Facebook post, they expressed compassion for the person or persons who did this. Our president, Alan George, sent this email in support. Dear Reverend Dyer, we at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Augusta were saddened to hear about the recent vandalism at the First Baptist Church of Augusta. We experienced similar vandalism 2 years ago and understand how it feels. We support your graceful response to the person or persons who did this. Sincerely, Alan George, Board President, UUCA. Next. Is maintaining live stream Sunday service for the UUCA community important to you? As in-person services ramp up, it's time for a new Zoom chapter with an eye toward viability and sustainability of this ministry. Therefore, we need to expand the pool of people who make these streaming services happen each week. Please reach out to Natalie Reese with questions and to volunteer. Training and support will be provided. Thanks to Lynn Dennison and Marika, who attended Zoom host training on Friday and will be joining the Zoom host team. In fact, Lynn is joining us today. Next, there will be no RE classes held during June and July. The Humanist Free Thought Group will meet today at 5 o'clock. This is going to be a hybrid meeting thanks to John Black, who sponsored the purchase of the 4K TV that's now mounted in the common room, and the service overflow area. We now have that open back here. I'm in the common room. If you would like to join us in the common room, you can watch the Zoom service from here. Our June board meeting will be held in person and in the common room this Thursday, June 17th at 6:30. Members are invited to attend. This will be a transitional meeting between the fiscal year 21 and the fiscal year 22 board members. On Saturday, next Saturday, June 19th at 9:30, we'll have a sculpture walk. This is an intergenerational event. All are welcome. And we're going to meet at the New Moon Coffee Shop downtown, and then at 10 o'clock go on the sculpture tour. It's an easily walkable tour of 10 temporary sculpture installations, complete with an app for a guided tour. And you can contact Reverend Kim Miner for details. Also next Saturday at 3 o'clock, we're going to have our rescheduled ice cream social and fundraiser. Yes, yay. And we're going to do that rain or shine. It's cones, sundaes, root beer floats will be available, complete with rainbow sprinkles for Pride Month. A suggested donation of $5. The proceeds are going to reimburse the general church fund for the recent painting of the family ministry wing. And now, Stephen, you can show this. We're going to be welcoming our new minister, Reverend Nick Filson, and his first day in the sanctuary will be August 8th. And this is a slide that he wanted us to share with our congregation and with our Zoom attendees, so they'll be able to get to know him a little bit. Thank you, and back to you, Jezebel. Do we have
try the slide next week?
Well,
sorry, that was
Steven,
what he sent me. I will see if we can figure this out. But we've had some great meetings with him already and look forward to his arrival. Oh, there it is. Yay.
Is it up there? All right. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Marcia. Is that it on announcements?
That's it on announcements. Thank you, Jezebel. Thank you.
All right, let us now enter into our time of worship.
We light this flame to ignite our hearts and minds, the spark of knowledge that enlightens, the shimmering hope that burns, the blazing love that engulfs our actions, the bonfire of our commitment. We light this flame for those who celebrate themselves, who fear, who hope, who persevere, who stand on the side of love for all. We light this flame for those who have been ridiculed, that they may find peace. For those who have fought to marry, that they may celebrate. For those who live in uncertainty in the world, that they may have hope. We light this flame to renew our commitment that no one shall ever again suffer for the right to love. We light this flame to celebrate the kaleidoscope of our diversity, working, loving, living on the side of love. For this, we light this flame.
Thank you, Jeff. And now, this is the time where we share our joys and sorrows, and Marika for our pastoral care team will be facilitating this.
Hello and welcome, everyone. Now is the time in our service when each of you is invited to share the joys and sorrows that have recently come into your life. We will start by recognizing those of you here in the sanctuary.
Everyone the opportunity. Thanks, Marika and Natalie and everyone. And now we enter into our time of meditation. So I invite you to relax into your chairs, take a few deep breaths, and Jeff has some words for us before our silent time.
Audrey Loud said, "My silences have not protected me. Your silence will not protect you. May our centering silence empower us that we may speak in love." We have not only opened our doors to people of all sexual orientations and gender identities. We value diversity of sexuality and gender and see it as a spiritual gift. We create inclusive religious communities and work for the LGBT justice and equity as a core part of who we are, the UUA.
Thank you, Jeff. Many of us are here because of our church's strong commitment to social justice, to LGBTQ rights, to the rights of women, to the rights of people of color, to all those who have been marginalized. And we are active in the community, not as much last year with COVID, but we shall be returning, working through the Progressive Religious Coalition and other groups. But we also need everyone's support so that this church can be a beacon for the community. And as we welcome all of you of diverse interests and personalities, we also welcome whatever contribution you can spare to help us in our work. So now we are honored to have Patricia Childs sing our offertory. generosity, and let's welcome Jeff Pulliam.
Well, some of you know me for a long time, and some of you don't know me at all. The first time I came to the Universalist Unitarian Church to speak, I donned my preaching robe, the robe they give you in academia, and I stood up here to give not really a sermon, because sermons can make you people nervous. I came to give a talk about religious symbolism and the theologian Paul Tillich. It was very heady and academic. What a mistake. The talkback lasted for hours. We went home and my husband said, well, I really like those people, but they're too smart for me. I don't know what the hell they were talking about. And I said, as I thought about what to wear today, very important. If you're talking about Pride celebration, you have to figure out what you can do to be festive. Maybe put a little rainbow in your hair, or definitely wear a little color, or don your old gay pride t-shirt, love wins. I haven't got my new pride t-shirt yet. It says love still wins. A message that is good lasts for eternity. Hopefully, in the progress of our culture, we will all be living with a better awareness of how love changes our world 20 years from now. But as I thought about what to wear, obviously I decided on this. I don't know, I'm stepping away from the camera. Sorry to the TV audience. I read this week that you might be a UU if you thought socks were too formal for the worship experience in the summer. And man, that freed me up to show you my sexy ankles. I called my friend in California and I said, I've been given the task of celebrating Pride with the UU Church. They're very exciting people, and I'm so glad to be with them. And he said to me, Jeff, please make them laugh. And I thought, I'm the worst joke teller in America. And he said back to me, friend, you're just funny. You've always been funny and you will be funny. People laugh at you. Wow, what accomplishment. But what a theological task it is in the celebration of Pride, because one of the reasons that we gather is just to celebrate how good diversity feels, how good all the colors look together on the flag, even though you never mix red with orange. Everybody knows that. Or red with yellow or green or blue, have a celebration. So what I'm here to do today is really just to say thank you for who you are as a congregation, to join your energy and your enthusiasm of your support for the GLBTQARSTLNNOP community. My friend in New York, who is an MCC pastor, she loves the word queer. Queer meant odd to my grandmother. And I tell you, there are a lot of gay people who are tired of being made or referred to as odd. But I'm kind of old school. I like it that I'm a little quirky and that I'm a little different and that I am, as Broadway says, what I am. It's good to be among you because you are a people who allow individuals to bring their full identity, their questioning minds, and their expansive hearts into your sanctuary. It's good to be among a people who believe in the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Principle number one, the foundation of us in this room. And oh, that it would become the foundation of our world. You have no greater call than to be a people of principle number one, because that's what Gay Pride celebration is about. Your acknowledgement of the value and worth of each individual. For 35 years, I have watched you. For 35 years, I have known you. For 35 years, I've seen your work for justice, equality, and compassion in human relationships. And I am proud to be here with you this morning to celebrate. In word and deed, this community has led the way in Augusta. In my history, you sheltered the first group of gay Christians who needed a place to meet and worship. They were Christians hurting out of those fundamentalist traditions who had sent them to hell, and they had no place to go, and they were trying to cling to their knowledge that God was love. And you opened the doors of this place for us. You worked with me and with many in the AIDS epidemic. This year has been our COVID year. It's a hard year, but some of us have lived through pandemics that didn't even get acknowledged by our governments. And you and your denomination and the people of this place worked with us to run helplines, phone systems to listen, to respond. You cried with me, and you made quilt squares. You spoke out for justice, and you let a motley group of actors, because the first time I came, I wore that academic robe, and I said, I ain't never doing that again. So the second time I came, I bought a group of actors, and we challenged y'all a little bit with some Marlo Thomas Free to Be Me gender identification stuff. There may be some of you in this room that remember me holding up a baby picture and reading in my baby voice about two kids who were confused about what it meant to be a boy and what it meant to be a girl. You have led the way with us. You have been there for me personally. In this place, Roy and I gathered to celebrate our union. 175 Jewish, Christian, UUs, and non-believers filled this room to say our love was important. And to hear a Christian minister at that meeting talk about what it meant to be beloved community. Thank you for your work. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for being with us. We also gathered in this place to celebrate World AIDS Day. We have heard poetry, songs. We have celebrated those who we've lost to disease, youth suicide, and violence. And in the recent years, you have marched with us. Now, this is a COVID year, so we're not really sure what all the pride celebrations are. We're definitely going to have a dance, because when gay people get together, we have a little dance. When I was trying to think about my stick for today, I kept thinking, well, I'm not doing the academic road thing. And then I kept thinking, well, they've seen a lot of Jezebel, and when I think of Jezebel, I think about dance. So I started thinking about dance, and I started thinking about one of the first times I ever went out to a queer bar. There was a guy there who had big fans, and he did a fan dance like I have never seen before. I'm not going to give you a fan dance. But if I do my job, I will fan your flame to participate with us in the joy and the goodness of what it means to be community. I am so grateful for you. And you need to celebrate who you are in support of us, because this faith community has been a beacon, and I want you to continue to be. Now, I've got to move quickly. I'm probably already almost out of time. I'm long-winded. I come from that religious tradition where I can hoop and holler and walk around, and I can't do that because we've got Zoom people this morning. I've had all kinds of trauma, I need to tell y'all. This morning, I was stung by a bee, the first time in like 40 years. And then I got in my car to get here, and my tire gauge said I had 20 pounds of pressure. Well, I just came on with my 20 pounds of pressure. So we'll see how much pressure is still in there when we leave the service. But I also have orange glasses, which y'all don't get to see this morning because the demons of the universe, or the forces that be, broke titanium. I don't quite understand. And I've lost my orange glasses. So the only glasses I have at the moment are sunglasses. So I'm not like, that's why I have sunglasses on. So I have to put them on and off to read. But my thought is, other than being humorous, obviously, is that in 2011, a Christian minister by the name of Rob Bell wrote a book entitled Love Wins. Reverend Bell's work was founded in the tenets of universalism, the idea that redeeming love was for all people and that no one was to be excluded. He wasn't a UU minister. He was out of the megachurch tradition, and he became one of that year's top 10 theological influences of the world when he published this book called Love Wins. Now, I have no idea if Leonard Zimmerman, who you and I know as Pork Chop, knew about that book, but he at least knew the title, and he gave us our Pride theme entitled Love Wins, and this wonderful graphic of the state of Georgia, with Augusta, the center of the universe. And we all know, we feel Augusta should be the center of the universe. I thought it would be interesting for you at least this morning to hear a few words that Mr. Bell had to say as we think about entering our Pride celebrations. Some communities don't permit open, honest inquiry about things that matter most. Lots of people have voiced concerns, expressed doubts, or raised questions, only to be told by their families, their churches, their friends, or their tribe, we don't discuss those things here. I believe the discussion itself is divine. Abraham does his best to bargain with God. Most of the book of Job consists of arguments by Job and his friends about the deepest questions of human suffering, and God is practically on trial in the book of Lamentations, and Jesus responds to almost every question he is asked by raising a question. Thank you for being a community of questioning, of inquiring, of academic integrity. Does that sound like another UU principle to you? Robel also said, I would say that a powerful revolutionary thing about Jesus' message is, what do you do with people that aren't like you? What do you do with the other? What do you do with the person that is the hardest to love? That's the measure of what a good religion is. You can love people who are just like you. That's kind of easy. So what Jesus does is take the question and talks about fruit. He's interested in what you actually produce. And that is a different discussion. How we love people in this world that are least like us. You can see how this love wins theological thought applies to pride. We must be a people who are committed to this activity of love. When Jezebel said this morning, your credo, your motto around here, I went, woo, inside of me, because I believe in my theological bringing up that love is what God is. Now, whether or not we use that in some, again, I'll put on the academic robe for a moment, as a finger that points to the moon, or is there no God being out there? I celebrate the diversity of everyone in this room to believe whatever you believe or you don't believe. But the presence of love is holy. And Rob Bell says it this way: love is what God is. Love is why Jesus came. Love is why he continues to come year after year, person to person. May you experience this vast, expansive, infinite, indestructible love that has been yours all along. And may you discover that this love is as wide as the sky and as small as the cracks in your heart. And the cracks in your heart that no one else knows about. And may you know deep in your bones that love wins. Now, real quickly, your work in this love wins, still wins theme. I need you to stand with me. As strong as you have stood in the past, looking to the future, because sadly, in the last 12 months, 28 transgendered or gender nonconforming people have been fatally shot or killed by violent means. The Trevor Project says that, sorry, I got a little emotional there. The Trevor Project of 2021, the National Survey of GLBT Youth of Mental Health found that 19% of GLBT youth ages 13 to 18, and that 8% of those youth have reported attempting suicide in the last year. Having pride and having people speak to the worth and dignity of all people is just as important as it was in 2011. We have made some strides, and we have made strides because of you in this room. Don't leave us. Your work of inclusion is extremely important for us. You say, Jeff, what can we do? Well, you heard this morning from one of you what you can do in this continuing work. And one of the things that you can do is just be present with us. Well, Jeff, I'm a little old for that loud music that'll beat something. Well, maybe you are, but breathe through for a moment and wiggle your tail just a bit. Because nothing is better than giving a young person the opportunity to laugh at an old person trying to dance, okay? Come down to the rally and walk among us. I don't know, because of COVID, that you've had all of the opportunity to get your stuff together for Pride this year. So we may be a little shaky on that. But one of the things I want you to challenge you to do as a UUA church in this coming year is, when you think about Pride next year, don't think about just GLBT issues. Go to Pride, and I know evangelism is kind of a dirty word in the UU circles sometimes, but go to Pride with offering the opportunity that this church not only cares about gay and lesbian people, but you care about creation. So take some of your global warming stuff and take it to Pride. Take some of your gender issue stuff and take it to Pride. All of your 7 principles need to be proclaimed. Hand out flyers. Walk among us. Tell us, this is who we are. And, be daring. I come out of a Baptist tradition. Invite people to join you. How normative is that? As we go forth from this place, I thought today the task was overwhelming. I could stand among you and talk about the contributions of the GLBT community in history. I could stand before you and do a whole bunch of things. We could talk about and list off all the needs that the community has. But I wanted to just be with you, to just fan the flame for a minute on who you are and who you can be, and to remind you not to give up the fight, the march, to fan the flame. I want to close with a bit of humor, not that I can be funny or tell a joke. How many UUs does it take to change a light bulb? Andy probably can tell us. UUs don't try to change the light bulb, they accept it just the way it is. How many Unitarians does it take to change a light bulb? Well, there's no fixed number, but you need to know you have to have a committee, a discussion, and even though there's no number, you have to come up with a quorum. How many UUs does it take to change a light bulb? None. UUs are not afraid of the dark. Hear the words of Robdale. Why blame the dark? It is far more helpful to ask why the light isn't as bright as it should be. Hear that one more time. Why blame the dark? It is far more helpful to ask why the light isn't as bright as it could be. Take your light to gay pride. Fan it and be happy. Thank you, and may the presence of all that is holy continue to empower your work. I ask that we close this service with my favorite UU hymn, which changed me as a young minister with a profound message, a call to be both gentle and angry at the same time. What a challenge to fan the flame with just that paradox, that you can be a gentle but angry people. Let's sing with, in the Methodist Church, we say lustily, not with lust, but lustily.
Words on the screen or in your hands.
Stand up, people.
like to thank Jeff again. I'm going slightly off script with the closing because it was just so good, again, to be reminded of this church's impact in the community. I remember when Joe and I first came here from the Bible Belt and from New York into the Bible Belt, we're a little worried. We saw the rainbow flag and we thought, okay, these people are going to be cool. And those of you who were with us in the first Pride Parade, and at that point, our minister was warning us about possibly dealing with violent protesters and stuff. We didn't have anything like that. It was wonderful. And then just seeing the faces, and I remember Richard Justice and the way he was laughing at us and smiling, and especially some of the older gays who had never thought something like this could happen, and remembering that we can be such a power of change and why we need to get this church going. And thank you so much for that message, Jeff. And now let's all join in our anthem, Spirit of Life. Hold hands if you wish. Those were the closing words. I just went off script, guys. I'm sorry. I was inspired.
See, she had a Baptist preacher. That's what happens.
Now we extinguish our chalice, but not in our hearts.
And we are celebrating musicians that are part of the Pride community for Pride Month. And I just want to say, Jeff, you're welcome back anytime, no matter what clothes you wear.
Well, I had thought maybe the last time I had done something wrong because it's been years since I've been here.
Our post news by Henry Strader, who was a close collaborator with Duke Ellington. Henry Strader was active 90 years ago, and as a gay man, he had lived his whole life in a closet. Duke Ellington didn't care, but everybody else did. And so we recognize Henry Strader, one of his musical genius today.